Has already been a good day in football, waking up to the news that Sean Cox, the Liverpool fan who's been fighting for his life since April, has regained consciousness, is on the mend. That's great news. The Wild Boars team in Thailand are heading home in the next couple of days. The England team are home with their loved ones. And the ITV team will be tomorrow. On behalf of us all, thank you for joining us for the final. This is the team that Didier Deschamps selected for the second game here 3.5 weeks ago. It's been his A team ever since. Blaise Matuidi and Olivier Giroud started the tournament on the bench but played their way in during the opening match. Giroud keeps his place despite an 8-game international scoring drought. The only question really is whether Antoine Griezmann will start on the left in front of Matuidi in a 4-3-3, or, as that caption suggests, behind Giroud in a more attacking 4-2-3-1. The two coaches from very different backgrounds. Didier Deschamps with a chance to make some World Cup history. Zlatko Dalic with a chance to make a name for himself. In charge is the Argentinian Néstor Pitana. He was here for the opening match of the tournament. He's officiating the last match too. Two captains, both more than 100 caps to their name. We'll be hoping with the rest of us that this is not the first final to be decided by a VAR decision. Nothing too contentious for the men at Mission Control to rule on in the two semis. It'll seem a little strange watching Premier League games without VAR next season. Croatia have effectively played one match more than France to reach the final after 3 successive extra-time epics. Only Luka Modric and Ivan Perisic have started all 7 games here, but half of that unchanged side have missed some training sessions in the last week or so. All kinds of rumours about players carrying injuries. They have operated with a couple of different systems during the tournament, but when Marcelo Brozovic plays, he usually sits between Modric and Rakitic. I think there'll be more 4-3-3 this evening. We will wait to see. Well, it could so easily have been England in that caption. 25 minutes away from all of this. Glenn Hoddle. It always looked like it to be two European teams, particularly since Brazil's departure 9 days ago. Where do you feel that this final will be won and lost?
Well, I think it's whatever team can play it. They're very calmest. They've got to be nice and relaxed, have clarity of what their managers want them to go and play, what shape, keep the shape. And you know what? It's about taking chances. In a World Cup final, if you get chances, whether you're a centre-back, a midfield player or a striker, it's having that calmness to take those chances. So many teams are out of this tournament that are looking back thinking only if we'd have had that calm finish, we would have gone through.
France have played in the last 3 World Cup finals staged in Europe. But it's the last European Championship final 2 years ago that will be on their minds at the start here. Favourites then against Portugal, favourites again today. And don't Croatia just love being underdogs? Here's Perisic, one of the players who broke England hearts in Wednesday's semi-final. Ivan Rakitic. Domagoj Vida to Dejan Lovren. Rakitic trying to find Perisic. Varane just beating Mandzukic to the ball. He was actually under a bit of pressure when France arrived here, Didier Deschamps. Not least because Zinedine Zidane and Arsene Wenger are currently out of work. Strunic quickly to Mbappe, as he must be.
Well, they found themselves in the final, France, and they've had moments, haven't they, Clive? They've had moments in matches and certain games. Not as consistent, maybe, as you'd have thought coming into the tournament, but they're there.
City taking a bit of a chance with Modric winning a free kick.
He decides to take on he's the last man. Modric just puts out a leg, takes a risk, because if he wins, that is in.
A través de la cultura de la integración, visita fundacionforever.org.
Mariano, a pesar de que...
Just a little battle for the ball there.
The wide man, Perisic chasing, trying to close down. They're not quite as a front three with Modric and Perisic either in the three behind Mandzukic, but as a four, they're taking up good positions and making it tough for those defenders.
Yeah, of course, Mandzukic plays a lot of his club football out wide for Juventus, so there is a bit of ability to interchange in that attacking quartet for Croatia, protected well by Rakitic and in particular Brozovic in behind. Croatia do have a free kick inside their own half, which Luka Modric is wanting to get on with quite quickly. Interchanges with Dejan Lovren. Modric sense if Croatia are going to prevail in this final, he's going to have a very, very big match, and he's looking to get on the ball whenever possible. It's France's turn now to try and close down Croatia in their own defensive third, but the Croats have retained possession. It's Rakitic now striding over halfway, finds Strinic, who can get the ball out of his feet and to run at Paul Pogba down Croatia's left side. Pogba, though, matches him stride for stride and puts a good challenge in to deflect the ball out of play for another Croatia throw-in. 7 minutes on the clock in this World Cup final. France 0, Croatia 0. Still no real shots in anger towards either goalkeeper's goal, but Croatia have certainly been the more positive of the two early doors. Strinic takes the throw in to Rakitic. Rakitic to return the ball to Strinic, and he's found him. Mbappe caught sleeping in his defensive work, but credit to Kylian Mbappe. He gets back, recognises the danger. His pace perhaps helps as well as he blocks Strinic's attempted cross, and it goes behind for the game's first corner. Yeah,
as you say, just switched off briefly, didn't he? But then he's got that pace that helps him to get out of a sticky situation, gets the block in, puts behind for the corner, and it's all been inside France's half so far. France are yet to be seen as an attacking force in this game. Mbappe back at his own byline tells you the story.
Yeah, Modric is going to take this resulting corner for Croatia. An in-swinger from the near side as we look. Plenty of bodies in there in red and white shirts. Lovren, Vida, Mandzukic, the obvious candidates to get on the end of this. As Modric is a decent delivery in. Varane heads the ball clear. Lloris was also looking to come out and punch, but Varane taking no chances, and then more pressing from Croatia forces the mistake from Kante, and it'll be a throw-in down the far side now for the Croats, retaining possession really well. Rakitic whips a right-footed ball into the box, and there was a chance there at the far post. It was Perisic coming in, but it's well dealt with once again by Rafa Varane. Now Pogba, he's brought down by a strong challenge there in the middle of the field from Rebic. So it'll be a free kick to France, and perhaps a chance for Didier Deschamps' side just to breathe a little. France 0, Croatia 0 at the start of this 2018 World Cup final. No real shots on goal from either side as of yet, but Croatia have started the match on the front foot, really pressing high, trying to force mistakes from the French backline, and they're really doing well. Mandzukic, Modric, Perisic, Rebic all getting involved, the attacking quartet. They forced the game's first corner as well, which came to nothing. For France, they can't get a foot on the ball as of yet. We've seen nothing from their attacking trio, Griezmann, Giroud and Mbappe. Mbappe's actually been doing a lot of work defensively, but none of those three players have been able to get on the ball in attacking areas as of yet. But as it stands, it's still France 0, Croatia 0.
Croatia claiming the ball deep inside their own half, starting from deep, having seen Olivier Giroud fail to bring down and control a high ball aimed at him. Shows the issues that France have had so far, the fact that they've looked to go long to Giroud already rather than keeping it down on the deck and building forward. They need the likes of Pogba and Kante, Matuidi to get a foot on the ball, try and just calm it down a little bit. Again, they've been robbed of possession here, France, through Paul Pogba. That's a great ball out to the left-hand side now, and a chance maybe for Strinic to put this ball in. The fullback is faced up by Pavard. His low ball is sliced into the box, and it is cleared away by France, hooked to the halfway line. But it'll be a Croatia throw, and the pattern of play continues.
Yeah, Croatia really getting on the front foot whenever possible. The final ball hasn't quite been there as of yet, but they're certainly building the early momentum as Brozovic finds Rakitic on halfway. He can carry the ball forward. Plenty of players in red and white shirts in front of him, but he just retains possession for the time being. Back inside to Brozovic, and now Lovren, who has Vrsaljko outside him, finds Modric. Now Vrsaljko of Atletico Madrid can take over. Such an important role in the game against England, assisting Ivan Perisic's equaliser, and had a really good game from the right back position. He's involved again at Sime Vrsaljko, goes to Modric, and now it's infield with Brozovic. A very patient play this from Croatia, keeping France at arm's length. Rakitic now has possession, looks to clip the ball over the top, looking for the run of Perisic, who brings it down really nicely with his left foot, but he just run out of room. Really difficult skill to trap it dead, and with Varane coming across as well, the defender was able to usher it behind for a goal kick. But positive from Croatia again, they are not overawed by this occasion.
Yeah, just couldn't get that ball to skip back towards him there. The first touch is okay, but he just needs a bit of backspin on it when it lands on the deck. He gets the top spin on it rather, and it bounces away from him and behind for the goal kicks. The first time we've seen that ball from Croatia, it's one that obviously came up good for them against England, just in behind the defence, bouncing ball in the box and struck across goal like they scored against Jordan Pickford. If they can utilise that in this game, then great. The difference, I suppose, is that France have got some quick central defenders in Varane and Umtiti, so they'll be hoping that they can get themselves out of trouble. First time we're going to get to see France now as a threat maybe in this game. They've got to throw in a good area.
Yeah, Hernandez, though, gives possession straight back to Croatia with a really poor throw-in. France have immediately won it back, however, although they're on halfway now with Rafa Varane. He goes out to Benjamin Pavard on the right-hand side, cuts infield and back to Varane once more. France will be looking to try and get a bit of possession, certainly in Croatia's territory, and just get a feel into this game. They've not started quickly at all, Le Bleu, as Lloris, the goalkeeper, has to send the long kick forward, looking towards Matuidi, but he's beaten in the air, and again those second balls are falling Croatia's way at the moment. Kante picks the pocket of Modric. It's now Hernandez for France on the left-hand side, finds Griezmann, who goes into Matuidi, and now Samuel Umtiti once again. This time Croatia not pressing the two French centre-backs too high, so Varane's got time to shift it out to Mbappe on the right-hand side, but it was a poor pass. Mbappe couldn't quite control it. Perisic almost was able to nip in and win the ball back for Croatia, but all he's managed to do is turn it out of play for a throw-in, and France can look to build again. Of course, in the semi-final, France against Belgium, Belgium started on the front foot, weren't able to score, and gradually the French grew into the game and ultimately went on to win the match. Croatia, particularly as they're the underdogs in this, because they're on top, they'll be looking to score whilst they're dominating. Otherwise, it could become a very difficult afternoon.
Yeah, you always fear for a side, don't you? Especially when they are the underdogs as well. If they start brightly and don't get that goal, what it does to confidence, they think, well, we've tried everything we've got already, we've thrown so much at them, and we haven't really been able to find a way through. And again, goes back a little bit to what you said earlier on. Now the goalkeeper is yet to make a key save in this match. Obviously, Lloris's goal has been under more pressure, but there's been no real attempts in that he's had to deal with. So France, although they'll be disappointed in the way that this game's got going, that they've not seen much of the ball, they've been on the back foot, they'll take confidence from the fact that they haven't really had to do too much to keep Croatia out. Here they let it go for a goal kick. And Croatia can't keep this pace up for the whole game as well. If one team comes out like this, you almost look at it and think, OK, well, let's let them go and run themselves out, tire it down. It might well prove as the half goes on, like against Belgium, that France get a bit of a foothold in the game. And they've got such quality as well that we spoke of before. It does just take a moment of brilliance from someone like Mbappe or Griezmann to go and turn this game around and put France into the lead.
Yeah, there's such quality players out there for France. Even if they are sitting back and soaking up pressure on the counter-attack in particular, they've got plenty of pace, and they've got the focal point of Giroud as well. So Croatia have made the better start, but they still have to be aware as they come forward now. The Croats, Perisic is in space, he's in behind Pavard, but a cross into the box is a poor one. Mandzukic was in there, Rebic was coming in as well, but he scuffs the left-footed ball, Ivan Perisic, and Umtiti, not for the first time already in this game, was across his near post and clearing the ball away.
Yeah, I think he was trying to gesture towards Pavard then, saying that's the second time he's been out of position and left us open and exposed. They can't afford to do that at the moment, the way this game's shaping up. Maybe France do want to get their full-backs forward, but you've got to pick and choose your moments. And at this time in the match, they're on the back foot. They're struggling to keep hold of the ball, and Croatia are pressing really well. So it's up to those defenders, those full-backs, to make sure that they're covering, they're helping out, and that Croatia's wide men haven't got that opportunity to spring the counter.
Yeah, there has been one or two suggestions going into the World Cup final that if France have a weak link, it is down in that right-back position from Pavard, who's had a good tournament, scored that amazing goal against Argentina, but perhaps if he can be attacked at, he is more predominantly a centre-back club level, then there could be an area to exploit, and Ivan Perisic is one of Croatia's more creative players. We've just got a little stoppage because Perisic has gone down, perhaps in a tangle with Lucas Hernandez. It was in a build-up play, and yeah, Perisic just kind of runs in to the French defender. Nothing untoward in it at first glance, and Perisic is now back on his feet, a little dazed, but okay to continue. Croatia have possession. Modric plays the ball down the line, but it's intercepted by Hernandez, and France might be able to build now from the back. Pogba has it, sweeps the ball across to the right-hand side, and Mbappe gets hold of possession, tries to backheel it into the onrushing Pavard, doesn't quite come off. Strinic makes sure to that, but France have possession again, and it's N'Golo Kante. 1-2 between him and Blaise Matuidi. Kante now looking over the top, trying to use the pace of Kylian Mbappe. We haven't seen that as of yet. Strinic makes sure Mbappe can't get on the initial ball. Giroud picks up the pieces though for France, but Croatia defending in numbers, have enough players around the Chelsea forward to win the ball initially back, but credit to Giroud, who hasn't really had a kick so far in the game. He then wins possession, and France can look to build once again, this time down their left-hand side with Lucas Hernandez. He floats the ball up towards Giroud once again. He just about wins his aerial duel, as does Griezmann. Now Mbappe down the right-hand side. Can he isolate Strinic? Goes beyond the fullback, gets into the box, pulls it back towards Griezmann. And Vida and Rakitic, a couple of deflections, just about scramble the ball away. It's still alive, though, this for France with Mbappe, but Perisic is back and should be able to clear his lines. Yeah,
first moment of real danger for Croatia. They deal with it okay. There's a free kick here, though, won by Griezmann. Croatia aren't happy, but I think that's the right decision. Brozovic just tangling with Antoine Griezmann. But that's where France are so good, aren't they, when they get Mbappe, especially in those wide areas. Little drop of the shoulder, he's past his man, looks for the cut back to Griezmann, and Croatia just about able to deal with it. You know what, I don't even know if this is a free kick, actually, looking back at it again. There's maybe a bit of contact. I think Griezmann obviously makes the most of it. Yeah, possibly. He seemed to be going down before the contact actually came, but then the contact did come, so I suppose it gets him out of jail a little bit, but it's soft.
It's a very soft free kick. Yeah, the benefit of the doubt, I can't really blame the referee for giving it. It was good disguise, if you like. Griezmann, if good's the right word to use. He's the man standing over the free kick, and he's been so dangerous from set pieces throughout this tournament, providing the corner for Umtiti's semi-final goal, also whipping a ball in for Varane to score in the quarter-final victory over Uruguay. This is perfectly placed for his left foot. He sends a dangerous ball and it flicks off the head and into the back of the net, and the opening goal of this World Cup final has been scored. Antoine Griezmann, the architect, was that Rafa Varane who got up and got his head to the ball. Croatia looking a bit shell-shocked. They've dominated the opening 18 minutes of this game, but what a delivery it is into the box from Griezmann, and it's a flicked header beyond Subasic and into the back of the net.
I think it might be an own goal, you know. I thought Varane had got ahead to it, but he doesn't get there in time. He didn't celebrate, which was the suggestion. He hadn't scored the goal. It might well be Mandzukic. It is. Mandzukic flicks it back towards his own goal. He scored the winner to see off England in the last round, and he gets his second goal in succession, but this time at the wrong end.
France have opened the scoring in the 2018 World Cup final. They lead Croatia by 1-0, but it's actually a Croatian player who's put the ball into the back of his own net. Mario Mandzukic, the hero from their semi-final success over England, but this time he inadvertently flicks Antoine Griezmann's pinpoint free kick into his own goal beyond Subasic, who stood no chance in the Croatia goal. Croatia have dominated this match for large spells but haven't been able to create any chances. Gradually France have started to grow into the game, and with their first set piece, the ball whipped in, Mandzukic the unfortunate man to put it into his own net, but that's given France the lead in this final, 1-0.
Yeah, it's cruel on the big stage, but Mandzukic felt he had to get something on it, otherwise someone else may well have done so. I'm not sure if that is the case. I don't know if anyone was arriving behind the big striker, but he tried to get something on it and unfortunately turns it into the back of his own net. Subasic unable to get there. So Croatia's good start, all that hard work now means little as they trail in this game. Still a long way to go. Don't expect this to finish 1-0. Croatia have come from behind previously in this tournament. They're going to have to do it again today if they are to go and claim their first ever World Cup title. They've won a free kick here as well, so this will be their first opportunity to try and hit back Kante, bringing down Modric wide on the right hand side.
Yeah, Croatia are used to falling behind in all 3 knockout games at the tournament so far. They've been trailing at various stages, so they have the character, they have the belief in their ability to come back, and there's still a long way to go in this World Cup final. And this is a free kick in a very promising position, which Luka Modric is standing over. We've just seen a brilliant delivery from Griezmann to set up the opening goal. Can Modric follow suit? Croatia do have big players to come forward from the back. It's out on the right hand side, just about level with the penalty area, so it's a good angle for Modric to send what will be an outswinger into the box. Plenty of bodies in there. Vida's come forward, Lovren as well. Mandzukic will certainly be looking to atone for putting the ball into the back of his own net, and this would be an immediate response all round for Croatia as Modric sends it into an area and Vida gets his head to it at the near post, just gets too much purchase on the ball. It goes over the top of the crossbar. Yeah,
another player that's proved to be a hero at times for Croatia in this tournament. Vida scoring in the victory against Russia earlier on in the competition, but he just can't rise enough there. It's a decent ball from Modric. Maybe needs to take a little bit off it to allow someone like Vida to get a better and firmer contact. But I think both sides are going to be threats from set pieces, aren't they? We know that France have scored plenty of goals from set pieces with their 2 big defenders coming up, as well as the likes of Pogba and Giroud that can challenge. Likewise for Croatia, Mandzukic, Vida and Lovren, all really big players capable of throwing their weight around. So it could well come down to who's better at set pieces today to who's going to win this game. But 1-0 in the early stages is what you want, I think, as a neutral, isn't it? You want a nice early goal to open the game up a little bit. Not that it was tight and tense in the early stages. Croatia are having a good go at it, but even more so now. They've got to start committing as this game goes on, and that should open up chances and space.
It should do, and particularly the counter-attack for France as well, if Croatia do start to throw 1 or 2 more bodies forward, although they're not going to be likely to go too gun-ho until later in the match. Olivier Giroud's just been penalised there. He didn't agree with the decision from the referee. He's not the first player for either side to disagree, but the official gives the free kick Croatia's way, and Brozovic has it, but his ball forward is a little bit telegraphed. Matuidi intercepts, now Pogba, that's a good ball forward, and Mbappe now, can he take on Vida? What a good challenge that is from Domagoj Vida, who was so impressive against England. Had a really good World Cup, it has to be said. That was an inch perfect challenge to deny Mbappe. Got in there so quickly, he didn't allow Mbappe to build up any head of steam with his pace. Yeah,
because it was a great ball as well. Both Griezmann and Mbappe were almost side by side. The ball was definitely intended for Mbappe. whose first touch maybe could have been better. I don't think he'd had a look to see where the defender was. He thought, I could knock it out my feet, then try and beat someone, but he didn't have the time to even get that second touch. He was looking for Griezmann, who'd gone inside, but Vida had blocked off that angle as well as getting in to win the ball. He's been linked with moves away from Besiktas on the performances at this World Cup, and as you say, it's easy to see why he has been linked with so many teams.
Yeah, it's quite a good bit of pace as well. Now he's starting in the game against England. Croatia, meanwhile, have a free kick in the dangerous area again. Vida's the target for Modric's delivery. Lloris is there, though, to punch the ball away. A couple of players down in the box, but play continues. Mbappe draws the foul. Referee plays an advantage, but then Pogba stands on the ball, so the advantage is gone. And now Croatia down the right-hand side. What can Mandzukic do? Lifts the ball into the box. Comes to Rakitic on the volley. Difficult skill on his weaker left foot, and he sends it well off target. France complain because they feel the referee should have brought play back for an earlier foul, but really good counter-attacking play once again from Croatia. It was just coming together in the box, actually, from that last free kick between Pogba and Mandzukic. Half-hearted appeals from both teams, really, for fouls. The referee was having none of it. But we've passed the quarter mark in this contest now. France won, Croatia 0 in the 2018 FIFA World Cup final. I'll hand you over now to Bobby to see you through to the half-time whistle.
Yeah, thank you, Tom. Shaping up to be a pretty good World Cup final. The final game of a competition that has certainly caught the world up. It's been fantastic football to this point, and at the moment seems as though that is going to continue right until the very death as Croatia clear one away deep inside their own half. It will be a throw into France, I think, although there's appeals from all sorts of players on the pitch towards the referee, so until the throw-in is actually taken, I wouldn't be too certain. And there we go, it has been overturned. It's going to be Croatia's throw, so referee obviously spotting there was some sort of a deflection in there. Wasn't obvious from us watching on independent off-tube studio commentary that we bring you. France 1, Croatia 0. Griezmann has the ball, flicks across towards Mbappe. It's too big for the PSG man. Cleared away then at the back by Vida. Croatia will recover it again through Vida, but he had an awkward bouncing ball, and Griezmann charging on at him. To be fair to the Croatian defender, he dealt with it as well as possible, and they have now got it over the halfway line, but Umtiti will clear back. We're not quite seeing that the dominance that was there in the opening stages from Croatia at this point has become much more open and even. France have never at any point had the right to say that they've been in control of this game. Looking back at that incident with Giroud as well, and it is tough to understand what the decision was given for. Was it a high boot?
I think it must have been a high boot. I initially thought that there was maybe a handball in there as he charged down Dejan Lovren's attempted clearance. There's an argument he might be slightly high, but I think he's perfectly entitled to dangle his leg. He wasn't anywhere near catching Lovren, and he actually won the ball back. Whether he would have then had the pace to break through towards the goal is a different thing altogether, but it certainly would have been an opportunity, had the referee let play continue, for France to have a shot on goal.
They do have their goal in the game, courtesy of an own goal from Mario Mandzukic. Heading home, an Antoine Griezmann free kick. France looking to try and get themselves settled in this match. They have a throw-in on the halfway line. See Didier Deschamps in discussion with his backroom team, rather aggressively talking to one another at the moment. Zlatko Dalic, the Croatian boss, looking isolated on the touchline on his own and a little bit more composed. I'm sure he'll be happy enough with the way this game has gone. Obviously disappointed they've conceded a goal, but they've held their own, if not more than done that. On the back foot at the moment, but have the ball. Dropping in there was Rebic, deep inside his own half, and he goes long forward to Mandzukic. He does get the flick on, and France hesitant to go and get that ball, and it'll be Rakitic to go down. He wins the free kick, and that's going to be the first yellow card of the match. N'Golo Kante for, in fact, sorry, it's Luca Hernandez who's picked it up, and N'Golo Kante was the nearest to him when he showed the card, but Luca Hernandez, no, it is Kante who committed the foul. It appeared that he showed the card to Hernandez there, though, so we might just wait for confirmation with that one. It should be N'Golo Kante. He was definitely responsible for the challenge, and there is the confirmation now. So the Chelsea man into the book. That's his third of the game, so rightly so the card comes out.
Yeah, he can have no real complaints. I think even if he hadn't previously fouled, that probably should be a yellow. But it all stemmed from the two French centre-backs being very hesitant to come from the ball. That allowed Rakitic to pick it up, and Kante really, from his point of view, probably felt he had no other choice but to bring him down.
Well, this free kick very central, just probably a couple of yards left of the centre of the field. Modric angles it out to the right-hand side. Rychalko looks to head it back into the box. It comes off Mandzukic, then Lovren. Vida turns it down edge of the area, trying to get a shot away, and Croatia have levelled. It's drilled home by Ivan Perisic. Croatia's early pressure has finally told. It was poor defending from France. They couldn't get clear. Croatia with 2 or 3 touches inside the box before eventually Ivan Perisic slams home to get them back on level terms.
Croatia are back on level terms in this World Cup final. It's really, really impressive stuff, isn't it? Great ball into the box from Modric. Vrsaljko keeps it alive. Eventually, the ball drops to Perisic, and it really is a world-class finish. Game on in the FIFA World Cup final. It's now France 1, Croatia 1. Ivan Perisic, the scorer. He got the equaliser against England in the semi-final. Well, he's followed suit in this one. It was a neatly worked free kick. Modric floating the ball towards the far post where Vrsaljko was a late arrival. He headed it back across the area. It was bouncing around. A couple of players got a touch. Eventually it was laid off to Perisic, who shifted the ball into the space on his left foot, and it's a cracking finish through the bodies into the back of the net. Really, really good response from Croatia. They're deservedly level in this game. They've probably been the better side over the course of the first half an hour. It's France 1, Croatia 1.
He joins Mbappe and Griezmann on a tally of 3 goals at the World Cup. Still trailing top scorer Harry Kane by 3. He currently leads the way in the race for the Golden Boot. Romelu Lukaku played his final game yesterday on 5, so chance to try and edge up the standings if they can add a few more goals, any of that trio, to their tally already at the competition. Heavily linked with a move to Manchester United over the last year or so. Goals like that, in big games like this, will do his reputation no harm at all. Wonderful finish. First touch was great to get it out of his feet. The second even better to drill it through that crowd of bodies. And Lloris, seeing it late, couldn't react and get there to keep it out. Mbappe, is he onside here? No. The flag will go up and stop his attempts, having done so well with the footwork there to beat the defender. He was actually going to be through one-on-one. It's a tight one, this, you know. He was coming back. He never gets on, though.
Yeah, he's offside. It's a good decision from the official. He's trying to arc his run, but he never gets close enough to staying on side. And with the referee's assistant looking straight at it, he was always going to raise his flag. If France need to get Mbappe more involved, I thought that would have been a real area of joy for them up against Ivan Strinic, who's had his fitness problems during the knockout stages. He's been substituted in all 3 knockout matches, and I thought in a one-on-one battle, if Mbappe can isolate him, then he can have a lot of joy. But credit, Strinic has done well so far in this game, and he's actually been pinning Mbappe back on occasions and supporting Perisic in the attack. So the Croatian fullbacks have done a decent job so far. Yeah,
stood up well to one of the brightest talents in world football, the 19-year-old Kylian Mbappe. Becomes just the 3rd teenager to start in a World Cup final today. Mbappe among an elite group of players to do that. I imagine he's going to have plenty more World Cup action in years to come, and maybe even a couple more World Cup finals that he could take France to if he continues to develop at the pace that he currently is. But so far, he's not been able to rise to the occasion today in the way that Croatia certainly have. A free kick here. It's just going to be a throw maybe to France deep inside their own half. There was a bit of a coming together between Luka Hernandez and the goal scorer Perisic. I think it has just been given as a throw. Perisic seems to be all over the place. I had him down as starting on the left and now popping up on the right hand side. He was central when he scored his goal. Got plenty of engine to cover the ground. I think try and make up for the likes of Luka Modric, who's obviously getting on a bit and doesn't want to be covering every blade of grass, but wants to be heavily involved as well. Rakitic here calmly rolls one back into defence, and Giroud will go and chase it. Croatia going all the way back to their goalkeeper Subasic, the hero earlier on in the tournament in penalty shootouts. 32 minutes gone in this World Cup final then. France 1, Croatia 1. Croatia having scored both of the goals. Mandzukic putting through his own net before Perisic took his team out of a bit of a hole by scoring at the other end. Croatia showing that they have got that spirit they've shown throughout the tournament, more than capable of coming from behind and remaining motivated on the task that is in hand. Flick on down the right hand side now, and a chance maybe to get a ball into the box. It'll have to be delayed slightly because Mandzukic is slow in getting there and the ball is poor. Straight into the hands of Hugo Lloris. France still yet to impose themselves on this game as Lloris looks for a long ball from Mbappe and Vida gets the header away. That'll be a corner, and was actually a really good ball forward from Lloris.
Yeah, really pinpoint, wasn't it? Vida at full stretch, all he can do is turn it out of play for a corner, and within 2 touches of the ball, it's gone from Hugo Lloris's hands to a corner for France. And we've already seen Griezmann's delivery, haven't we, to set up the goal, the opening goal of the game that gave France the lead. Again, this will be danger. They've got Umtiti, Varane forward from the back, who've already scored during the knockout stages. Giroud as well. He'll feel he's due a goal in the tournament. This spells danger for Croatia.
Yeah, they've got 5 players in a line towards the edge of the box. And Mbappe, I think it is inside the 6-yard box. There's a word from the referee at the moment towards Mbappe and Subasic, just trying to tell them not to do anything outside of the rules. Griezmann can eventually deliver to the near post. It's flicked on by a head, or to go behind. They want a corner here, France. In fact, no, they want a penalty. Matuidi is trying to say that came off a Croatian hand. If there is enough of a appeal, which there appears to have been, the referee might well refer to VAR here, and he is. He's got his finger to his ear, so this one being assessed. It was Matuidi at the near post. It does come off a hand there for me. Perisic, who was coming back towards his own goal, has got the arm out, and he slaps it down. For me, that could be a penalty. He's only close in behind Matuidi, but it's in a very unnatural position.
Yeah, I see what you mean. It definitely hits the hand. I think that'd be very harsh to give it as a penalty, though. He's not expecting the ball to come through from Matuidi. I think he's trying to move his hand out the way. I mean, I think it'd be very unfortunate, particularly given that Strinic is standing behind him and would have been clearing the ball away anyway. I feel that is not a clear mistake or error from the officials, so they should just allow play to continue. We'll find out now from Nesta Patano. He's going to go over and have a look.
What I don't understand as well is the fact that if it's not a penalty, then surely it's a corner.
Yeah.
And they seem to be setting up as if, well, if it's not a penalty, it's going to be a goal kick. We'll obviously see what happens afterwards. But if the referee's looking at this and then he's going to go and give a goal kick, then clearly he's not seeing the right picture here. But he is looking at the video screen that he has available to him. We'll see again. Matuidi flicks it on. Or does it come back onto Matuidi, actually? It might well do, so it probably would be a goal kick if it's not a penalty. I think it comes off the defender back onto the France man.
The problem with just looking at the VAR replay there, the referee's watching it in slow motion, and I think that always makes handball situations, particularly if the arm's slightly in an unnatural position, it actually makes it look more of a deliberate handball than perhaps it was. I mean, they're watching it in real time now, which I think will give a more accurate reflection. I don't think there's certainly no intention from Perisic.
Calais against Romero.
For me, would suggest that surely he has to stick with his original decision. If it's not a clear, obvious penalty, then he should give no spot kick.
Well, he's coming onto the field of play and the penalty has been given. The referee has decided from what he's seen that there's a handball in there. He feels there's enough intent in it, and France will have the opportunity from the penalty spot on from Griezmann from their penalty taken
against Romero.
He is likely to be the man again, and Perisic, who was the hero just a moment ago at one end, now becomes the villain, although the Croatians will probably see the ref more as the villain than Perisic.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those, in this day and age and what we've seen in this World Cup, you can see why it's been given as a penalty, but I just don't think there is any intent from Perisic. He's jumping for the ball. He can't actually see the ball. He's trying to move his hand out the way. It's not going anywhere because Strinic, as I mentioned, would clear his lines. Whether you can take that into account or not, I'm not so sure. But for me, it's a harsh spot kick. I can understand the Croatians' frustrations.
Subasic has been Croatia's hero in penalty shootouts already in this competition. He's shown that he's capable of stepping up from the spot, as has Griezmann, though. This is set to be a good battle between the duo. It's been a long time since the appeals came about to when the penalty was awarded, so Griezmann's had a lot of time to get himself ready for this. Croatia are continuing to appeal to the referee, but he's made his decision. He's seen it and decided that the penalty should be awarded. There might be a bit of nasty work from Croatia on the penalty spot, but Griezmann doesn't seem too affected by it. He scored his last 5 penalties for France, having gone to the left on 2 occasions, to the right on 3. Never goes down the middle. Is he going to book the trend in this one? Subasic, I suppose, has got a gamble then. Almost, well, just over half have gone to the right-hand side, but where will he go this time? Griezmann then with the chance from the spot. Subasic lively on his line, trying to make himself as big as possible. Referee not happy that he's starting on the line. He's leaning towards his right. Griezmann's left as he looks at it. Griezmann goes to that side.
And there's against Romero.
And it's France 2, Croatia 1.
In the World Cup final with a really good penalty from Antoine Griezmann. It's a hugely controversial moment indeed. France 2, Croatia 1 in the World Cup final. France have got themselves back in front thanks to a really coolly taken penalty from Antoine Griezmann, but it's a hugely controversial moment as well because it comes after VAR was used. The corner was swung into the box by Griezmann himself. Matuidi goes to flick it on at the near post. He doesn't quite get contact on the ball, and behind him Perisic trying to tuck his arm out the way. It inadvertently hits his arm, which isn't in a natural position. Initially the penalty's not given, but after consulting VAR, referee Nesta Pitana points to the spot. Croatia couldn't believe it. Griezmann stepped up. He sends Subasic, the penalty specialist, the wrong way. It's 1-0 France.
Perisic still making his complaint to the referee. It's far too late for that now. 4 goals in 7 matches for Griezmann makes it France 2, Croatia 1. All but one of Griezmann's goals at this World Cup have come via penalties. And the one that didn't was a howler really from Uruguay goalkeeper Muslera, who parried out a long-range effort. Not really difficult to deal with into the back of his own net. Gifted Griezmann a goal. So he's now just 2 behind Harry Kane. Should he get a hat-trick in this, he will actually beat Harry Kane, level on goals, because he's got more assists at the World Cup. So that will put him into the leading position for the Golden Boot. Still a long way to go in this game. France 2, Croatia 1. We're round about 5 minutes from the half-time break, but I think we're going to have 3, maybe 4 minutes of additional time due to the delay we had for that VAR. We'll have to wait and see what the referee's decision is when we get to that point, though. Is this going to maybe just demotivate Croatia a little bit? We'll have to wait and see if it's going to have effect on them mentally, feeling they've been hard done by. Could work the opposite way and give more fuel to the fire in those Croatian bellies. Strong challenge here from Luka Hernandez, which I thought was good. Referee's given a free kick, and now he's going to give a card as well. Well, he's been good throughout the tournament as Nesta Pitana, but he's maybe just lost it a little bit today. Yeah,
that's 2 defensive-minded players, if you like, for France. Now, running the tightrope, Hernandez will be up against Rebic and Perisic when they interchange. for Sanctum coming forward, and of course Kante on a yellow too, so that could have huge repercussions going into the latter stages of the game. And he was very quick to go to his pocket there, Nesta Pitana, and yeah, perhaps it just ruffled his feathers slightly, that VAR incident. I do have sympathy with him because it's one of those touch and go situations where if you ask, some people will say it's a harsh decision, others will say it's a stonewall penalty, which again takes me back to whether it's actually the right call to then change his decision. But it's happened now. He needs to settle himself back down, as do both sets of players. Yep, they've got to get back on with the game. There's always going to be a danger that VAR was going to come back and have an impact on this World Cup final. It actually seemed to have fallen a little bit by the wayside throughout the knockout stages, having been so heavily involved in the groups. Didn't see that much of it throughout the last 16 quarter-finals, semis, but it was always likely to pop up at some point in this final with so much riding on it. Referee obviously doesn't want to get a decision wrong. Here we'll see that challenge from Luka Hernandez. Fair enough, actually. He didn't get the ball. I thought he'd come round his man and got the ball. Had he got something on the ball there, it might have actually been okay, but I don't know if he made any contact with it at all. And Mbappe will try and chase one down here, but it's gone beyond him and to Vida. He will return it to Subasic. A poor touch from him, actually sees the ball go behind and into his 6-yard box, but nowhere near enough pace on that to even threaten of going over the goal line. Croatia deep inside their own half with Modric. Need to settle into that pattern of play again now. Yeah, again, they've got to up it. It's been so difficult for them. They've been the comeback kings throughout the knockout stages, as we mentioned, but to play so well, fall behind initially, and then raise yourself to get back on level terms relatively quickly, only to go behind again, it's going to take a real big psychological effort, if nothing else, from Croatia. They've got the experience within their team to do that. It might be a big half-time team talk as well from Zlatko Dalic, but yeah, they just need to settle themselves back down, because I think for the majority of the game they have been the better side. They haven't tested Hugo Lloris often enough, other than the Perisic goal, but they've got an opportunity now, and they have won their fair share of free kicks.
Yeah, this one was given for an off-the-ball instant, actually. It was a header away by Luka Hernandez. Just in behind them, Mandzukic and Umtiti clashed, and referee thought it was unfair. A free kick comes in, then it was headed across goal. Might fall here for the volley. It's turned behind. It was Lovren who had the chance, but France getting defenders in the way. Corner kick.
Yeah, France struggling to clear their lines when free kicks, corners come into the box. That's where Croatia's goal came from. And again, the second ball, third ball's dropping Croatia's way, and Lovren doesn't catch it right, bouncing into the back of Paul Pogba. It's another opportunity from the corner.
Referee's just holding up this set piece because he's saying that there's some pushing and shoving, and he's just given the VAR signal to them as if to say, if you do continue, I will have a look at it. Ball in was dangerous. It's gone behind for another corner. Umtiti might well have been who got that final touch. It was dropping inside the 6-yard box, and although there were no Croatian shirts, it looked as though it could have gone anywhere off a France boot. Rakitic to deliver again, and again it bounces round in the box. It's hooked away by Giroud over towards the halfway line. France, as Tom said, less than convincing from these set pieces. A French player has stayed down. Croatia are continuing to play on, though. The referee is happy for that to happen, and rightly so. It's not a head injury. Pogba will put this behind, and it should be a corner, I think. Perisic is trying to have a word with the referee to try and gauge whether it's going to be a corner or a goal kick. The referee's currently just taking an eye on what's happening with the defender in the box. Umtiti went down. Don't know if there's much in that, really, to be honest. Whether he landed awkwardly on his leg, maybe.
I think Lovren might have landed on top of his leg when it might have been bent in a natural position, so it could be quite painful for Samuel Umtiti. But Croatia perfectly within their rights to continue playing, and I thought there was... Paul Pogba looked like he was just going to lose his head slightly when he came across to try and dispossess Perisic, and that was in the penalty area, so he just about held back Pogba and managed to turn it behind for a corner. But worryingly for France is Umtiti does look in quite a bit of discomfort. We've mentioned, although they've looked a bit shaky at times in this game, that he's formed such a good partnership with Rafa Varane throughout this tournament, particularly during the knockout stages. So it would be a huge blow if France are forced into a change. They've got the inexperienced
now for this set piece, which could well be costly for them. Comes in, it's flicked overhead. It's gone behind for a goal kick, far side of the goal. Vida, I think it might well have been, he got the final touch. He has been a real threat from these set pieces, and again he rose well but just couldn't quite make the desired contact.
Yeah, he's got to at least 2 set pieces now, hasn't he? Balls into the box, may feel much in this World Cup final.
Titi is back on the pitch, and he's just been laid the ball here and seems to be moving okay. Actually plays a really cute ball, chipped over a midfield into Paul Pogba, who then runs into a challenge and loses out. Croatia can come on forward. Mandzukic blindly chesting that down. I think he felt that his teammate was already making the run ahead of him. Had he done that, would have actually been a really good ball into his path, but the teammate he was hoping for was actually slightly behind him, so had no chance to get there. Should mention 3 minutes was the verdict of additional time at the end of this first half. We're just over a minute and a half into that. Giroud's the target of a long ball downfield, just bounces off his knees and awkwardly away out wide. Not close enough rather to anyone in a blue shirt. So Sime Vršalko can bring it down, and Croatia playing it across their back line. They may well assess Samuel Umtiti at the half-time break to see that he is okay. But the fact that he's back on and already played a decent-looking ball seems to suggest that he will continue. As Luka Hernandez comes on forward. The pass there far too big for Kylian Mbappe. Nice idea, trying to get it in between the defenders, but too much pace on it. We'll go behind for a Croatia goal kick, and that might just about bring about the end of this half. Now they've taken it short. We've still got 40 seconds to go, so maybe one more chance. It's flicked forward to Modric, who's muscled off the ball unfairly by Matuidi. So he's got a free kick, which France don't want to let him get on with quickly. And then in the end, he does get the chance just to prod it on forward into Brozovic. Out right-hand side to Vršalko. Looking for the ball in. It's an awkward one. No one dealt with it. Lloris came and then backtracked. Perisic couldn't get there, but he does prevent the throw-in. Strinic loses out, and Mbappe's dragged back. That'll be a free kick, and that will bring up half-time.
Yeah, it's a really good ball in again from Vršalko. It's a very similar delivery, really looping high to the goal that Perisic scored against England, the equalising goal in the semi-final. This time, though, Perisic just gets caught under the flight of it. But it's one of those, Lloris couldn't really come to claim it, and he got caught in no man's land. If there was someone coming into the far post, they could well have had a tap in.
I think the whistle might well have gone here. No, not quite yet. They're going to let them take this set piece, and then the whistle will go. 3 minutes of additional time done and dusted. And it looks as though France are going to take a slim lead in at the break An own goal and a penalty proving the difference to cancel out Ivan Perisic's strike at half-time in this World Cup final. It's France 2, Croatia 1.
I'm coming home, I'm coming home, tell the world I'm coming.
সামনের সপ্তাহে একটা র্যাম শো আছে, একটা পোলা মডেল যে শর্ট পর আমি জীবনও চিন্তা করিনি। এই পোলা মডেল যে কই পামু, আমার চাকরিটাই যাবো এবার বুঝছি।
কিরে তোর মা খুব চিন্তায় আছিস মনে হইতেছে?
আর কইন না ভাই, খুব চেহারায় আছি, চাকরিটা যাবো এবার।
কে কিনলো?
আর একটা পোলা মডেল লাগবো, সামনের মাসে আমার র্যাম শো।
ও পোলা মডেল পাইতাছিস না?
না ভাই, চাকরিটা যাবো এবার।
এটা কোনো ব্যাপার হলো? আর আমি আছি না।
আপনি মানে হচ্ছে গিয়া ব্যাপারটা হচ্ছে গিয়া আপনি কখনো করছেন নি?
আরে আমার ট্যালেন্টের উপরে বিশ্বাস রাখ, আগে করি নেই দেখে কি হইছে। এভরিথিং হ্যাজ আ ফার্স্ট টাইম, এভরিওয়ান হ্যাজ আ ফার্স্ট টাইম। কাম অন।
না মানে
কি না
আপনি করবেন?
আমি কি করতে পারবো না? আমার ভিতরে কি ক্যাপাবিলিটি নাই, অ্যাবিলিটি নাই?
না ঠিক আছে, বাট
ঠিক আছে বাট কি আমার একটা চান্স দিয়াই দেখ। বেশি জোরে।
আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে করেন, এখন দেখি যেমন দেখেন একটা
দেখ, ফাটা দিব।
না ঠিক আছে।
Cause I'm so fly, so fly, so fly. All the bitches love me cause I'm so fly, so fly, so fly. All the bitches love me cause I'm so fly, so fly, so fly. All the bitches love me cause I'm so fly, so fly, so fly. All the bitches love me cause I'm so fly, so fly. All the bitches love me cause I'm so fly, so fly, so fly. All the bitches love me cause I'm so fly, so fly, so fly. All the bitches love me cause I'm so fly, so fly, so fly. All the bitches love me cause I'm so. All the bitches. All the bitches love me cause I'm so fly, 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 fly. All the bitches fly, fly, fly.
Oh, that feels good.
So fly, 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 so fly. All the bitches love me cause I'm so fly, so fly, so fly. All the bitches love me cause I'm so fly, so fly, so fly. All the bitches love me cause I'm so fly, so fly, so fly. All the bitches love me cause I'm so fly, so fly, so fly. All the bitches love me cause I'm so. All the bitches.
at the call. Think about it, ring won't tell you what I saw. When you break it off, you'll see who had it all. You had it all. You said you wanted to fall into oblivion. Forget about the world we're living in. Fall into oblivion, oblivion. I'm going in. Fall into oblivion. Fall into oblivion. Forget about the world we're living in. Fall into oblivion, oblivion. I'm going in. You can't fall asleep when you're counting stars. Get it together. Your mind can't sleep when you let it serve. Now you wanna see me fall. From a quarter mile, I can see you at the call. Think about it, ring won't tell you what I saw. When you break it off, you'll see who had it all. You had it all. You said you wanted to fall into oblivion. Forget about the world we're living in. Fall into oblivion, oblivion, oblivion. I'm going in. Fall into oblivion. Forget about the world we're living in. Fall into oblivion, oblivion. I'm going in.
Better start when Mario Mandzukic headed Antoine Griezmann's free kick into his own net. Just 10 minutes later, however, and Ivan Perisic with a sweet left foot drive brought Croatia back on level terms. But 10 minutes after that controversy, Perisic was adjudged to have handled the ball in his own area after the referee consulted with VAR. Griezmann stepped up, sent Subasic the wrong way. It's France 2, Croatia 1 at the break. Half-time, France 2, Croatia 1. France took the lead despite Croatia making the better start when Mario Mandzukic headed Antoine Griezmann's free kick into his own net. Just 10 minutes later, however, and Ivan Perisic with a sweet left foot drive brought Croatia back on level terms. But 10 minutes after that controversy, Perisic was adjudged to have handled the ball in his own area after the referee consulted with VAR. Griezmann stepped up, sent Subasic the one. Right, we'll just draw that one to a quick conclusion because the second half of this 2018 FIFA World Cup final between France and Croatia is just getting underway. If you missed the first half, it was a very enjoyable watch. We've seen 3 goals, VAR used, controversy all round. France lead by 2 goals to 1. They got their noses in front against the run of play from Mario Mandzukic's own goal. 10 minutes after that, Ivan Perisic got Croatia back on level terms, but another 10 minutes after that, Perisic was controversially adjudged to have handled the ball inside his own area. The penalty was awarded after the referee Nesta Pitana consulted with VAR, and Griezmann stepped up, sending the goalkeeper Subasic the wrong way, and that is where we stand going into this second period, as Croatia immediately try and get on the front foot, but Vrsaljko's cross into the box comfortably dealt with by Hugo Lloris. There doesn't appear to have been any changes made by either side at the break, so as you were in terms of the two sets of 11 that started the contest, it's myself, Tom McGarry and Bobby Jackson talking you through this afternoon's final. We'll get Bobby's thoughts in a minute as France look to come forward with Griezmann, who strikes towards goal, straight down the throat of Subasic. But already, Bobby, we're seeing at the start of this second half that it's set up to be another entertaining 45 minutes.
Yeah, I think interesting to see that France have actually now started to create, only a minute in, and they've had their first shot through Griezmann. Great ball over the top for Giroud, who maybe could have gone on for goal himself, but thought I'll try and bring someone else in, and probably took the right decision, I think. Different to what we saw in the first half, where it was mainly Croatia. Make the argument that they were the better of the two sides, and possibly a little bit harsh that they went in trailing at the break, an own goal and a controversial penalty. No doubts about Croatia's goal. That one was as clear as it comes, with some nice build-up and some poor defending from France, obviously leading to it. But I don't think we're done with the goals in this game. There's going to come a point that Croatia, if they're still trailing, are going to have to start committing. And that's going to leave gaps all over the place as Lloris tips one over the bar. That was a good opportunity for Rebic coming in from the left. Didn't look as though the shot was on. Took us a little bit by surprise, and he takes it early, and I think Lloris was shocked by it too.
Yeah, that's one criticism we had of Croatia in the first half. They didn't have that many shots towards goal, but that was brilliant from Rakitic to find Rebic, who forces Lloris into a fingertip save. Really good stop from the France captain, but he's going to have some work to do once again from this Luka Modric corner. Outswinger towards the far post. Croatian head, Lovren gets there first, doesn't quite drop for Vida or Rebic, and Rebic actually gets the last touch on it, so it goes out to play from a goal kick. But Ante Rebic was quite quiet really in the first half compared to Croatia's other attacking players. Perisic in particular was lively, but we'll have a look at that left-footed shot once again. Catches it with plenty of power, and Lloris really at full stretch. The more you see that, particularly that slow motion replay, it's a really top draw save.
It is. He doesn't move, does he, Lloris? I think didn't have time to, the pace that the shot came in at, and the fact that he gets around it with his left foot. The ball's always moving away from Lloris and across goal, and although it maybe initially looked comfortable with the flight of it, the more it moves, he then has to stretch with that left arm to get it behind and away for the corner. He's been criticised, maybe fairly, for some of his performances in the World Cup, Lloris, but he did well there.
Yeah, he's got to do some more work now. He just gets to the ball ahead of Mandzukic after Varane got a vital touch to initially deny the Croatian striker a run through on goal. So between defender and goalkeeper, they just about dealt with that danger. And now France can come forward. Pogba, though, that's a poor ball intercepted by Strinic, who can now stride forward, looks to roll Mandzukic in down the left-hand side, and Mandzukic picks Varane's pocket. He's breaking forward now, Mario Mandzukic, into the penalty area, tries to square it to Perisic. I think Varane, trying to get back to atone for his error, just about did enough to put him off, and France scramble it clear. But similar to the start to the first half, Croatia on top, looking to dictate the tempo. Clearly Zlatko Dalic has given words of encouragement to his side as Modric now looks to clip the ball forward, intercepted by Hernandez. Modric then gets the ball ahead of Matuidi, who has to come back at Luka Modric, turn it behind for another Croatian corner.
And it's set pieces that were really dangerous for France to deal with in the first half. They didn't deal with any of them first time. They eventually managed to get them clear, but Modric's delivery has been pretty accurate so far. I expect that to continue as well now.
Yeah, outswinger again from Modric. He's just into the near post. The first one he's got wrong, cleared away by Griezmann, and then Vrsaljko has a speculative effort from the edge of the area that flies well wide of the target. But this has been a very positive start to the second half from Croatia. Still France 2, Croatia 1 in this World Cup final, but Croatia have come out the blocks at the start of this second period, really flying, and they've created a really good opportunity as well for Ante Rebic, who had a quiet first half, it has to be said, but he's just been set up by Ivan Rakitic, and he hit a first-time left-footed shot that almost caught Hugo Lloris out. He had to react really quickly, the France skipper, and he tipped it at full stretch over the top of the crossbar. Croatia have had a couple of corners over the start of this second period, not quite created a chance from it, but they're really pinning France back at the moment. Really positive stuff from Zlatko Dalic's side. They still trail France by 2-1.
Croatia still in France territory with a couple of hopeful balls over the top. Both of them put out for throws, and Vrsaljko will get on with the latest one of those. Goes back in towards Brozovic. And to the halfway line as Croatia just looked to draw France out a little bit. It was all getting a bit tight inside France's territory. So they've worked it from right to left through the midfield, and they'll come back through the centre again now with Brozovic, and Modric just drops in to provide support. He's the one that keeps them ticking, really. If they can find him in space, then often he'll find a good and cutting ball. This time he leaves it for one of his teammates to try and do that instead, and France get a foot in initially. Half clear to the halfway line, and Croatia will come again.
Yeah, it's Modric now in possession, trying to act as the quarterback, and he rolls the ball nicely down the line to Ante Rebic, but he shows too much of it to Matuidi, who picks his pocket. Kante, though, likewise loses possession for France, and now Croatia have it once again. Again, they're adopting that high press. Mandzukic looking to whip the ball into the box, but there was no one in there in a red and white shirt, and it's cleared away by Pavard, and now Pogba can look to stride out of defence for France, and that's a great ball around the corner to find Mbappe, who's got the pace to get away from Vida into the box. Kylian Mbappe strike towards goal. Sebastic comes out now as the angle and makes a good save. That's the first time we've really seen Kylian Mbappe in full flow in this match in an attacking sense, and he left Domagoj Vida for dead there.
Yeah, I feared for a moment actually that there might be a shout for a penalty. Vida was stretching a little bit to try and get to his man, and I thought that there was potentially he was going to give away the penalty kick, but Mbappe had just completely left him, as you say. He got the shot away. Credit to Subasic for getting across and making the save. But there was always an opportunity that could have happened in the first half with Mbappe making those runs in behind. France just weren't able to get the right ball in. Here we see it with Vida in the box. He was stretching out with the arm, and I thought he's going to drag him down here, but credit Mbappe, he stayed on his feet. Angle was tight, tried to go through the legs of the keeper, but saved. They need to make sure they keep that back door shut, Croatia. I know they're going to want to commit bodies forward, but they can't be providing Mbappe with that much space, because he will hurt them if he gets enough chances.
Yeah, he'll certainly take one, you would expect. It really gave a clean pair of heels to Vida, and you've got to give credit to Sebastic as well, coming out, narrowing what was already becoming a tight angle for Kylian Mbappe, and he makes a good save with his feet. The Croatian goalkeeper, of course, a former Monaco teammate of Kylian Mbappe. Croatia in possession now, looking to stride forward. It's Brozovic who flicks the ball in field. It's a poor pass from him straight to Kante, but then he loses possession. It's down on the left-hand side. Strinic looking to link up with Perisic. He's challenged by Kante. Pavard will prevent the ball going out for a corner, but he's only found Ivan Strinic, who holds on to possession for Croatia, goes inside to Rakitic, who lifts the ball into the box, and Lloris comes out. And I thought for a split second under pressure from Mandzukic that he got caught underneath the flight of the ball. He's gone down in a heap, I think, looking for a free kick. I'm not sure if that's been given, but it was almost an embarrassing moment for the goalkeeper.
Might have even been offside, you know, Mandzukic. He was sort of leaning, the head might have been off, the legs on. Has it been given as an offside in the end, maybe? Well, we're going to get a substitution in the meantime. N'Golo Kante is going to come off. Steven Nzonzi is going to come on. He's not had a good game, Kante. He's had a good tournament, but today he struggled. He's got a yellow card as well to his name, which is maybe part of the thinking behind it. But he's given the ball away a lot of times. And I'm just wondering if it's the height factor as well with Nzonzi coming on that's maybe in Didier Deschamps' thinking, from set pieces, have an extra body in there to try and help out. Kante obviously doesn't really give you much of help defensively from corners, but Nzonzi will do.
Yeah, he certainly will in both boxes. He'll be a threat, and I think it is a wise substitution from Didier Deschamps, as what we mentioned there. Kante's given the ball away quite a lot, particularly at the start of this second half, and the fact he's on a yellow card, and he's got the likes of Modric, Rakitic, Perisic, Rebic, even Mandzukic when he drops deep, running at him directly. He's just one poor tackle away from being sent off, and France being down to 10 men. So smart change with Nzonzi coming on, been a regular substitute in the tournament so far. Steven Nzonzi, this is his 5th appearance at the finals. Man who's been linked with a move away from his club side, Sevilla, and that's something that may emerge after this tournament reaches a conclusion. But the first substitution of the game has been made by France. Won't change their setup or style, you would suggest, for the time being, but fresh legs and a different kind of shield in the front of their back four. What can Croatia do now as they look to come forward? It's a ball out to the left-hand side, which doesn't do Strinic any favours. Mbappe nips in, but Strinic has done a good job against Kylian Mbappe. He wins possession immediately back for Croatia, looking to link up with Perisic down the right-hand side. Now Rakitic infield to Modric. There's an overlapping run down the right in Vrsaljko. He finds the Croatian number 2. He's got a good cross on him, we know that, but he resists the temptation and instead goes back infield to Modric, who's been shackled by the French substitute Nzonzi, but he finds a way around him, picks out Rebic, who goes down theatrically looking for a free kick. It's not forthcoming. Griezmann now can bring the ball away for France, but across comes Vida, slides in and it goes out of play for a throw into France around about halfway.
Yeah, I thought he could have maybe looked for support there. Griezmann decided to go it himself. He wasn't far away from embarking on an incredible run. Had Vida not done what he's done all game and read it really well. Again, they were light at the back, but Vida, sharp off the mark, gets there, makes a good, well-timed challenge, puts it out for the throw-in. But we're starting to see now, as we approach that hour mark, the gaps emerging for France when they're playing on that counter-attack. As long as they can keep it tight defensively, the game is theirs, really. They should be able to, with the pace of Griezmann and Mbappe, break out. Again, it's a lack of chances for Croatia. They had that one through Rebic, a couple of balls in behind that Larissa has come to claim, the one into the box that he parried behind for the corner, and the one that he had to come and claim ahead of Mandzukic on his chest. But it's the shots that they're letting themselves down with at the moment. Yeah, they're just not creating the possession they've had into chances. They've only really had 2 direct shots towards goal, Perisic's goal and Rebic at the start of the second half. Considering they've got 60% of the possession, you're probably expecting a little bit better return than that. Consider as well, like Modric and Rakitic in the team, they should be able to create quite a few chances. It hasn't been forthcoming so far, and that's one of the main reasons that Croatia are behind in this game. But they've won a free kick which has been taken quickly by Brozovic. It's now with Perisic on the left-hand side, looking to take on Benjamin Pavard. He gets a right-footed ball into the box, but it's over the head of everyone in a comfortable claim for Hugo Lloris at the far post. 57 minutes on the clock. Independent off-tube studio commentary of this 2018 FIFA World Cup final. France 2, Croatia 1. France a little over half an hour away from winning their second world title. But you sense they've still got a lot of defending and work to do before they can start thinking about that, as Rakitic has possession for Croatia. For Salko now, right-hand side, down the line towards Mandzukic, who turns the ball around the corner and just about squeezes it into Rebic, who in turn floats out to the left-hand side, where Perisic, again, looking to isolate Pavard, goes towards the byline, cross into the box, is over the head of Mandzukic and behind for a throw-in to France. But the spaces are opening up, and again, like it was at the start of the first half, Perisic can have a go at Benjamin Pavard that he's going to get, I suspect, quite a bit of joy. Yeah, and most times he's come out on top in that battle. He's got the run of things. They should be looking to get it to him as often as possible to make sure that they can try and find a route through towards goal. Had the delivery been a little bit better there, you'd have been backing Mandzukic coming in at the far post to make something of it and test Lloris. Pogba's played a lovely ball through to Mbappe, who's got the pace to get there ahead of Strinic. What a pass that was from Paul Pogba. Mbappe now into the Croatian penalty area, dancing one way, then the other, gets towards the byline. Strinic gets a deflection on the cross, but it squeezes through to Griezmann. Now Pogba strikes towards goal, first time, second time, into the back of the net, and Paul Pogba has given France a 3-1 advantage in this World Cup final, and perhaps Le Bleu now have one hand on the World Cup trophy. What a move, started by Pogba and certainly finished by the midfielder. Yeah, it's a great finish, isn't it, at the second attempt. Now, I thought he had the opportunity to maybe try and roll it into a teammate, but he had a better picture, and that was to fire it into the back of the net. Coolly dispatched left-footed. I think Subasic, when we get to look back at this replay, will be unable to make a movement towards the ball. He'll have likely have reacted to the first shot, be rooted to the spot. But I mean, Pogba started that move off with an incredible ball, didn't he, into Mbappe. His drive into the box, looking to find Griezmann, who he eventually did. He couldn't get the shot away. Back to goal, found Pogba. Yeah, Subasic is stumbling. He tried to readjust his feet, and then he can't get back across. Wonderfully dispatched left-footed. France 3, Croatia 1. France now lead Croatia by 3-1. The third goal being started and finished off by Paul Pogba. First of all, he plays an exquisite volley ball out to the right-hand side to utilise Kylian Mbappe's pace. Mbappe then gets a cross into the box, which is kept alive by Griezmann. In the meantime, Pogba's continued his run. Griezmann tees him up on the edge of the area. The first shot with his right foot is blocked by a Croatian defender. It comes out, though, to Pogba's left, and with Subasic, the goalkeeper, wrong-footed, he sends a lovely finish from the edge of the box into the corner of the net. France now potentially have one hand on this World Cup trophy. With not long left to go in this second half, really. It's France 3, Croatia 1. Yeah, they'll do themselves some harm if they throw this away. France in such a good position with half an hour to go, a 2-goal cushion, the first time they've had that in this final. Pogba achieving one of his dreams in scoring at a World Cup finals. He's had a poor game on the whole, at a 15-second period of the match that he just decided to turn up him with a wonderful ball forward and then getting on to join the attack and eventually wrapping it off with a lovely left-footed shot to score the goal. And here again with a nice pass now to Matuidi, who crosses, and Mbappe's in there, he's beaten to the ball, comes for Giroud, Griezmann far post, it's turned behind for the corner. Acrobatic defending from Brozovic, because Griezmann was winding up there, and Croatia now stretched all over the place, and France enjoying themselves.
Yeah, France have Croatia exactly where they want them, and Brozovic, really important last-ditch interception. He could have turned that into his own net, the Inter Milan midfielder, but gets it behind for a corner. Otherwise, Antoine Griezmann would have surely been making it 4-1, and if he had got the fourth goal, you'd pretty much say that France are home and hosed in this final. They've still got an opportunity to whip the ball into the box with Griezmann from the resulting corner. Big moments in this final. Griezmann into the area, headed away by Brozovic. Modric can't get to the loose ball though. It'll come to Griezmann again, who settles for a throw-in on the far side. But it's important now that Croatia hold on in there over the next 5 minutes or so, regroup, perhaps make some alterations on the bench, because France, if they do get another goal, you'd sense they will be celebrating a world title for their second time and first time off home soil, as they look to come forward with Giroud. He's linking up with Pavard over on the far side. Croatian foot in there from Brozovic, and then Strinic trying to head the ball away. Eventually Vida should be able to clear, and in fact it might turn into a little bit more than that thanks to a touch from Mandzukic. It's Perisic breaking down the left hand side. Across though comes on Zonzi with an important interception, but these are very important minutes in this final.
They are. I'm surprised we've not seen Dalic look to his bench just yet, maybe looking for reinforcements in attack. We've seen Kramaric playing at times in this tournament. He's maybe one they turn to. I think they've got to be honest, start putting more bodies into that attack. They're 3-1 down now. This is not the time to think, let's give it 10 more minutes. They need 2 goals here. They've got to be pushing on. They've got to be starting to commit. I think with that, they need to make changes.
Yeah, they're looking to come forward now with the 11 that are still on the field that started the game. Ball switched out to the right-hand side where Perisic chests the ball down. He's moved out to the right flank from the left. He gets a decent-looking ball into the box, headed clear by Pogba. The loose ball now breaks to Hernandez, who's barged to the ground by Perisic. No free kick given though by the referee, so play's allowed to continue. It's Brozovic into Modric for Croatia. He's running across to the left-hand side, looking for a run. It comes in the form of Strinic, who has to check back and hold on to possession. Goes into Domagoj Vida, and now Dejan Lovren in a right-back position can stride forward from the back. He's got Vrsaljko in support, finds the number 2, who's now looking to cross the ball in with his left foot, but it's behind the run of Rakitic, headed away by Pavard, but it comes to Modric, who almost had his pocket picked by Griezmann, but Lovren now has the loose ball for Croatia, rolls it into the feet of Mandzukic. Mandzukic holds off the challenge of Hernandez and just about shimmies the ball out towards Vrsaljko, but this could be the pattern of the game now. Croatia has seen a lot of the ball. France happy to sit back, wait for the counter-attack potentially. I think they'll have belief in their defensive rear guard that they'll be able to hold strong for the time that remains. Although Rebic now strikes towards goal for Croatia, blocked, comes out to Perisic, and he and Rebic between them just about retain possession, but eventually, thanks to the sheer numbers they have back, France can clear their lines.
Yeah, even players like Griezmann now getting back in there and defending as well. This is where they're dangerous on the counter-attack, because they may well sit back and have players like Griezmann and Mbappe in there, but those two are so quick that they can get into opposition territory. They need players like Pogba to be getting a foot on the ball as well. Game management, isn't it, really, for France? A pretty young squad, a young group of players they've got out there on the whole, and they need to make sure that they use all that domestic experience they've got, transfer it onto this international stage. It's fared well for them to this point. Looks as though it's going to take them all the way.
Brilliant run there from Lucas Hernandez. He tees up Mbappe, who strikes towards goal, and it's 4-1 to France, and surely now they have got this World Cup final wrapped up. Kylian Mbappe, the teenage sensation, with a fantastic long-range drive into the corner. There's a resigned look on Zlatko Dalic's face, as there is on the Croatian players, because surely now this World Cup final is wrapped up.
A second time in the tournament that France have hit 4. They did it against Argentina. They've done it against Croatia. Could get even worse as this game has plenty of time to go. And I mean, it's a good shot from Mbappe. It's from range. But I'm just wondering where Subasic is, why he's not got his angles covered to get anywhere near this ball. It struck low, it struck firm by Mbappe. Yes, he's some distance from goal. We see it here. Maybe the defender just gets in the eye line of Subasic a little bit as Mbappe cuts it back across goal. It's a good strike, though.
France now lead Croatia by 4-1 in the World Cup final, and Kylian Mbappe has got in on the act with a superb long-range strike. He's about 25 yards out from goal, but he hits a crisp low drive into the corner of Daniel Subasic, who's perhaps unsighted by Domagoj Vida, the defender in front of him. He can't react in time. Mbappe was set up after some really neat play down the left-hand side by Lucas Hernandez. Skill, poised to hold on to possession. He then found Mbappe. He did the rest to score his 4th goal of these World Cup finals. What a moment for the teenager. France now surely have got the world title wrapped up. It's France 4, Croatia 1.
Croatia just looking to try and claw back some pride now in this game, really. The match looks beyond them. Vrščálko is on forward and has got support from Perisic. Seems a long time ago that Perisic put Croatia back onto level terms in this game. We're approaching the 70th minute. Croatia trailing by 4-1. Luka Hernandez here with a header up and away. Pogba helps it even further and Griezmann then brings it down. Matuidi's been caught in the challenge and has to go back towards his own goal, but there's not that press anymore that we once saw from Croatia. Demoralised, and understandably so, the way that this second half has just torn them apart. And still, I think you would say at no point in this game have I felt that France have been completely dominant of this tie. But they do lead by 4-1. They haven't done much else apart from score goals, but that's all you need to do in football games, and that's exactly what they have done.
Yeah, they've taken their chances when they've come along. It's certainly not a 4-1 game, is it, based on the balance of play? Croatia with more possession and have looked really dangerous at times, perhaps not carved out enough opportunities for their dominance in terms of territory and possession. And they'll, of course, be looking back at the controversial VAR moment with the penalty that gave France the 2-1 lead. That will probably be, unfortunately, really one of the main talking points coming out of this final, but take nothing away from France. They've, again, like they have throughout the knockout stages, turned up, done what they've needed to do, and surely now, as we enter the final quarter of the game, we're looking at France being the world champions, and Croatia, they'll be wanting to avoid being on the receiving end of a heavy defeat. 3 goals is the biggest margin that has ever seen a World Cup final be won. We've had a 3-0, we've had 4-1s, we had a 5-2 back in 1958 when Brazil beat Sweden, but no side's lost by more than 3 goals. So Croatia, although they'll still be trying to go and trying to get back into this game, they'll also want to make sure they don't end up on the receiving end of a hammering. But to find out how the final quarter of the game pans out, although chance, and what a calamity from Hugo Lloris. Mario Mandzukic has got to the most unlikely of goals to give Croatia just a little bit of hope in this World Cup final. It's a calamity from Lloris. He gets the ball from the back pass, he delays on the possession, then he tries to skip past Mandzukic, who just gets a tackle in, and he basically tackles it into the back of the net. It's an awful moment for the France captain, but there's just perhaps a little bit of hope for Croatia.
He had all the time in the world when that ball first came to him, Lloris, but he wanted a little bit more, and he's taken an opportunity, Mandzukic, that never should have come his way. Credit to him for chasing it down. You're trailing 4-1. But he thought, you know what, I'm going to follow this ball in and maybe I'll get something. And he does. 3rd goal for him at the tournament. And there's a slim hope, isn't there?
Croatia have been given a slim lifeline in this World Cup final. They now trail France by 4-2. It was a gift, their 2nd goal for Mario Mandzukic. Hugo Lloris, the France goalkeeper, receives a back pass from Samuel Umtiti. He delays, waits for Mandzukic to close him down. He then tries to skip past the striker, who puts a challenge in and pretty much tackles it into the back of the net. It's a calamity for Lloris. There's hope for Croatia. They've still got time in this final. It is France 4, Croatia 2.
Hugo Lloris, we said before, probably hasn't had his best tournament, but he's likely to lift the title, the World Cup, as the captain of France. Absolutely no idea what he was thinking in that situation. A gift for Mandzukic, who, to be fair, did all he could in chasing down, as an honest striker should do. Could have gone absolutely anywhere. The ball, when it bounced off Mandzukic, fortunately for Croatia, ended up in the back of the net. We're still yet to see them make a change, though. Might be a bit of movement down on the touchline now. Potentially a player there that was just alongside Zlatko Dalic. So their change could be imminent as we head into the 71st minute. Cross in here for Croatia. Might well have gone behind before coming back in play. It has, so a goal kick for France, and Hugo Lloris, he's in no hurry to get on with this, and we are about to see a change, and it's the man expected. Kramaric, the former Leicester player, now finds himself at Hoffenheim, who's going to come on, and Ante Rebic goes off.
Yeah, it's a expected change, I would say, from Zlatko Dalic. Rebic has been the quieter of the attacking quartet for Croatia. Had a good tournament, has been linked with a move away from his club side, Eintracht Frankfurt. That may well happen before the end of the summer. But Kramaric coming on, a bit more of a goal scorer, if you like, more of a centre forward, although he might operate from the wide area just off Mario Mandzukic. So yeah, smart and expected change from Zlatko Dalic. I was going to hand over to Bobby before that Hugo Lloris calamity. I've got the opportunity to do so now for what remains of this World Cup final.
The referee has actually just stopped play because there's a Croatian player down, having clashed with his own player, Lovren, and the referee felt the need to stop play, even though he was back up on his feet by the time that the referee had walked across to it. So France, who were in a pretty good position deep in Croatia's territory, have now been forced all the way back to Lloris, and well, they're going to chase this ball down. Maybe not very sportsmanlike to do that, having considered France hadn't had a touch of the ball there, and what we've just seen from Lloris a moment ago, but they have cleared the ball away, and danger done for this occasion. A clash of heads here on the halfway line will stop play from Titi and Mandzukic. Mandzukic appears to have come off a little bit worse. Both have gone up honestly enough that there's no foul in there, just a clash of heads. They went down very well synchronised as well in the way they hit the deck. Mandzukic maybe even caught his opposite number with a hand as well, but the referee stopping it, not giving a free kick, I think just allowing treatment.
Yeah, I think Mandzukic has come off worse, even though he's probably more of the aggressor in the challenge. He just got caught on the side of the head, where it's more the forehead for Samuel Umtiti, but he is back on his feet, and France are now going to make their second change of the game. Yeah,
Tolisso is going to be the man to come on, and it's going to be Blaise Matuidi to go off. So the Bayern Munich man getting an opportunity to have a run out in a World Cup final. Another of the younger players in this France squad that will be thriving on the opportunity, a 23-year-old. He'll turn 24 in just a couple of weeks' time, Tolisso, and not a bad way to have an early birthday celebration by making a World Cup final appearance and potentially going on to lift the trophy as well if things remain the same. Matuidi's had a pretty good tournament though.
He has, he's been really effective. He's such an important role. Him, Kante and Pogba, although they've at times been overwhelmed by this Croatian midfield in this final despite the scoreline, but in terms of the tournament as a whole, they've been really, really impressive. I think they blend together really nicely, with Kante doing the defensive job, Matuidi being busy here, there and everywhere, and that just gives Pogba a little bit more licence to get forward and express himself. So there's been a great balance, and there's been a great backbone to what has been a successful tournament for France, which looks like it's going to end with a second world title.
Yeah, this could well be the turning point for France, having got to the final at Euro 2016 and lost on home soil to Portugal. Heavily favoured going into that game, the way that Portugal had progressed through the competition. Very unflattering performances. France have gone about their business in a similar way to Portugal. You could maybe argue at this competition they've been a little bit more workmanlike, but it's come up good for them in the end. They've had to score goals at times, and when that's been required, they have shown up and gone and got them. Against Argentina and today against Croatia, they've done just about enough in every game. It looks as though they're on course to claim their second World Cup title. Challenge in midfield here. We'll see France win the ball back, and it's been giving us a free kick there. I thought it was maybe a little bit soft, but the referee was right on top of it and has got a better view than us. So we have to favour his decision, and Croatia have worked it quite well. Rashalko got space to run into on the right. He's got Perisic in support. Does eventually send it out to that flank. A nice little turn in field. Cross will come in. Header away by Varane. Had to get there as well because Kramaric was lurking in behind. And Mandzukic is deep and picks up the loose ball. Lays it back in towards Luka Modric, who's dropped deeper as this game has gone on. And Croatia move it out left-hand side. Another good-looking ball in. This time Umtiti is in the way with a header out. Giroud and Griezmann link up to good effect. Griezmann then overruns it. I think he wanted some support, which wasn't forthcoming, and he loses out, and Croatia have it once more. They're not giving up on this one just yet. If they can get another goal in the next few minutes, a long-range effort here will not test Lloris, and they've got a chance of maybe even getting on to level terms before this one ends. Vashalko apologising for his long-range effort that was well wide.
Yeah, it's a poor choice from Vashalko there, because they had a bit of momentum. They were keeping possession quite well. I just wonder if Mario Mandzukic, he's had that knock to the head. He does look like he's tiring a bit. There's been a few crosses going to the box over recent minutes, and he's hanging back 20 yards outside the penalty area. So although you don't want to take him off because he's such a goal-scoring threat, perhaps they do need to look towards fresh legs, another body in the attacking third, because in terms of those attackers, they need everyone pulling in the same direction if they're going to stand any chance of getting themselves back into the contest.
Griezmann's just made a good run for France here to pull out wide on the left. He was then lacking support, so has pretty much just had to slow to a walking pace. He gets his side of throw-in, maybe more down to the poor defending from Lovren, who slipped as he tried to turn, than anything else, but keeps France on the front foot and away from their own goal and Lloris, which is always good news. Giroud with a poor pass, though, back to the throw-in taker, Luca Hernandez, and it's going to be a throw to Croatia, which they get on with much sharper. Vida clips one out wide to Modric, well taken on the chest, skips away from Tolisso, fires it into the feet of Kramaric. They back then towards Lovren, who's trying to spin and turn, clips it forward blindly, and France can comfortably head away. Croatia have got 7 players inside their own half. They're trailing a World Cup final 4-2. I'm just wondering why they've got so many bodies back there so deep. Modric has dropped deeper since the introduction of Kramaric, which is understandable. They've had to reshape a little bit, but there's no reason why they should have that many bodies back in their own half when they've got the ball.
Yeah, and if Modric wants to drop deeper to get more involved, then perhaps they need to sacrifice someone like Brozovic and get another attacking player on, because you don't need that many cooks, if you like. You need people up there to put the ball into the back of the net. They need to throw a little bit more caution to the wind, perhaps.
Schalke is one forward out on the right hand side. He's faced up by Tolisso. Was it infield to Modric, who does really well to wriggle away from a challenge. It's a good looking ball in, 2 were there. It's cleared by a Frenchman though. Shot then comes in and fizzes past the far post. Croatia are appealing that there was some sort of a touch there. Rakitic was the man going at goal. Doesn't appear that there... Oh, there was. It came off Steven Nzonzi's calf. He'd raised his leg and definitely took a deflection, which maybe even took it out the path of Mandzukic. It was a pretty clear connection as well, but not given. And it is just going to be a goal kick. Referee for me has maybe not had his best game. Obviously given the chance to referee the final because he'd performed well to this point. The referee's assessed on the route throughout the tournament. The one with the best stats and most consistency will be given the chance to lead out the players for the showpiece event. 7 shots for France, 14 for Croatia. 4 have been scored by France, only 2 put into the back of the net by Croatia, albeit one of those French goals scored as an own goal.
France still lead Croatia by 4 goals to 2. Time running out for Croatia if they are to get themselves back into this game. They have been the comeback specialists in this tournament, however, so they will keep their lead. And they brought on Andrej Kramaric as an extra throw of the dice, an extra attacker up there to support the likes of Perisic and Mandzukic. We've just seen Ivan Rakitic have a shot seemingly deflect wide of the target. Wasn't too far away from finding the bottom corner, but Croatia didn't even get the corner from that one, so the frustration continues for them. France have brought on Tolisso and Nzonzi to shore things up in midfield. They look comfortable though from a defensive point of view. It's France 4, Croatia 2.
It looks as though France are going to make their 3rd and final change in a moment as well. As Mbappe brings it away. He's all on his own with 2 Croatian defenders ahead of him, Vida and Lovren. He gets into the box. He slipped though of his own accord. He was maybe moving too quick for his own mind there and lost his footing. The Croatian defenders didn't really have to do too much. They were backing off, and in the end Mbappe doing their job for them. Modric has it on the halfway line, moves it across the midfield into Brozovic. Further wide to the right hand side with Schalke. Always a willing option. Trying to get away from Tolisso this time. Does enough to cut back and roll it in towards Brozovic. Turn in the central area then from Kramaric. Goes to the left hand side with Strinic. Slow stuff from Croatia at the moment, with France having everyone back behind the ball. This is a decent looking run, but eventually run into trouble. They do keep hold of the ball though, Croatia, with Modric. He's got his head up looking for a ball. Nothing immediately on, and eventually does find a cute little pass in towards Brozovic. And over Schalke on the right. Again, he's got Tolisso for company. Back to Modric he goes. Just level, just a few yards inside the box, and a low ball driven into the area is cleared over the halfway line. We're actually going to get a double change in this match. Looks as though In fact, I can't quite make that number out on the touchline for France. I thought it was 15, but that's Stephen Nzonzi, and he's already on the field. We might get it now, though. The ball has gone out. It's the 18, rather. And coming off, then, it's going to be France's number 9, Olivier Giroud. And Nabil Fekir is going to get the chance to experience a World Cup final as well. And Croatia are going to have their final throw of the dice in a moment as well, Tom.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised that Giroud's coming off, just because of his aerial prowess up there to try and head the ball away in terms of corners or hold it up when France clear their lines. He's had a quiet game, that has to be said as well. Giroud probably done a lot of the unsung work, if you like, but he's going to come off. Fekir will come on to add a bit more pace and trickery and probably just bolster that midfield as well, as Croatia look to make their second change as well.
Yeah, it's going to be Pjaka to come on, and off for them it is Strinic. So this is the final roll of the dice from Croatia in terms of shaking things up a little bit and starting to commit more bodies into that attack. Pjaka, a forward, plays his football in Germany with Schalke. Strinic is off now, so immediately Rychalko came over to the touchline to pick up a message from the manager in terms of how they're going to shape up for the remainder of this game. I don't think it matters too much. It's just a case of getting bodies into the opposition half. Rychalko will, I suppose, be hoping that he's still got a bit of a licence to go forward. Good ball into the box here. It was a poor first touch there, though, and it's gone behind for a goal kick.
That was a chance. That great ball over the top. The run from Pjaka, the substitute, perhaps he just comes to him a little too quickly as he tries to bring it under control. He should be bringing it down, and once if he does get it under control, I should say, then he's going to be having a direct shot towards Hugo Lloris's goal. So unfortunate for the substitute, perhaps it came to him too quickly, but Croatia can't afford to waste these opportunities. It was the other substitute, Kramaric, who played the ball over the top, and for me, he should be bringing that one down. Yeah,
it was a lovely little pass in behind that defence. Maybe had he had a few touches to settle into the game, he does better there, but in fact it was his first, is possibly why he let himself down in that situation. Here come Croatia again, though. Pogba has been strong there in the challenge, too strong, says the referee. Gives the free kick to Croatia, who will, I'm sure, want to try and load the box up here rather than rushing it and going short. They've looked good from set pieces, and they have gone short actually down the line, but into a crossing area. Referee's going to pull them back, though. He's saying, no, I'm not happy with that. Rakitic falls to the floor. I don't see why the referee has not just let them get on with that.
I don't understand. Why does he need to use the whistle? That's a good play from Rakitic and Perisic, trying to take advantage. Perisic has got away from his man, who was bursting into the penalty area. So now we're just going to have to look the ball into the box, but unnecessary from the referee, I would suggest. It's
going to be Rakitic to deliver. Modric has taken most set pieces, but Rakitic gets the duties this time, and it's poor. Straight into the hands of Hugo Lloris. There's a bit of a coming together in the box as Mandzukic ended up on the floor. I think Umtiti also did. He's stayed down now, and is at least trying to say that he's got a little bit of cramp. Whether that's the case or not, we don't know, and no one ever will. But in a World Cup final, I suppose it's been a long tournament. Maybe you can excuse him a little bit, but the fact they're leading also comes into the thinking.
Yeah, cramp always hurts more, doesn't it, when you've got a lead to hold on to, and it's one of those. You can be cynical about it, and there's a possibility that he is actually hurt. And as you say, it's been a long tournament, a long season, and I've had to put a lot of work into this final. But yeah, you tend to think at this stage of a game, when you've got a lead, that it's more about winding down the clock.
Yeah, you don't often see losing teams struggling with cramp in these situations. A throw-in taken here by France. Down the line they go. Under pressure is Nabil Fekir. Just managed to turn well and clip it down the line. There was no one there initially. Griezmann tried to close the gap, but couldn't close it quick enough. And then he does press well to force Croatia back into their own half, and they come out to the right-hand side with Rychalko. The ball was adding to his path, but he was able to charge down onto it and get there ahead of Tolisso. He wasn't too interested in stepping out of his defensive position too much. He's almost playing as an extra fullback at the moment, Tolisso, since he's been on. He's been able to nullify anything that Rychalko has come at them with, playing almost on the shoulder of Hernandez. As they play out through midfield now, Croatia. Into the final 5 minutes we go. Croatia trailing by 4-2 in this World Cup final, the furthest they've ever been at a World Cup. I'm sure they will be regarded as heroes once they touch down back on Croatian soil. It's one of those, again, that will be what could have been with the first half that they had.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's one of those 4-2 scoreline. It might look like France have had a reasonably comfortable afternoon, but that has not been the case. It's been nip and tuck. You can argue Croatia have dominated for large spells in terms of the possession. On another day, they could well be themselves holding a 2-goal lead. So it's one of those that will be a bit of a pill to swallow for them, but they have had a really, really good tournament to make it through to the final. That victory against Argentina in the group stage, that was one of the best, if not the best performance from a team of these finals. So they can hold their heads up high. Just possibly underline they don't quite have the squad depth. They haven't utilised their bench too much. Only 2 substitutions made, and they've both come late, and that ultimately may well be one of the differences between the two teams. France have a wealth of talent on the bench in their squad to change things up, where Croatia, beyond the starting 11, there's only maybe 3, 4, 5 that Zlatko Dalic can really look to and really believe they could make an impact coming off the bench.
Yeah, the difference in experience as well, or age I should say, rather than experience. The Croatian squad as a whole is older than the French one. Sometimes that can have an impact as the tournament goes on. The fresher, younger talent of France appears to have been able to stand up to the competition as Fekir goes at goal. It was a comfortable stop for Subasic. And it looks as though the dream is over for the likes of Modric, potentially Rakitic as well, who may well not be involved in 4 years' time. You'd probably say Rakitic has got more of a chance maybe of being involved in comparison to Luka Modric. Rakitic at 30 years of age at present might well find himself involved in the different time of World Cup in Qatar. It'll take place from November to December. Everyone will have to adjust to that one, as these French players are just getting going. The likes of Mbappe and Griezmann, Ousmane Dembele in the squad, although he's maybe not been heavily involved in this tournament. Varane and Umtiti getting their first real taste of a long run at a World Cup and showing up well.
Yeah, and just thinking about the French starting 11, 3 of them maybe won't still be around for the next World Cup. You're looking at Lloris, Giroud, perhaps Blaise Matuidi as well. Everyone else is in their mid to early 20s, or Mbappe is still a teenager, so there's a lot of legs left in this French team. The players on the bench as well who are also quite young, who can come in, and I'm sure there's a next generation of player as well developing, waiting in the wings, that will come through over the next 4 years. So it's a great time for French football. Yeah,
it really is a positive time. There was talk that Didier Deschamps could well be out of a job come the end of the World Cup with Zidane's availability, but if anything, he strengthened his grip on the post and might well be there in 4 years' time to continue his work with this squad of players, moulding them into what they want to be. Long-range effort here from Croatia will go over the bar. It has just fizzled out a little bit over the last 5 or so minutes. We're into the 89th minute now. I think Croatia resigned to the fact that the game has gone beyond them. There was still hope when that ball skewed off the boot of Mandzukic into the back of the net to reduce the deficit to 4 goals to 2. But as time has progressed and they failed to go in and grab that third, it does appear that the trophy will be heading to France. 2 European nations battling it out in this final. Shows the strength, really, of the European nations in world football at this stage. 4 in the semi-finals. Belgium and England falling at that penultimate hurdle. Croatia falling at the final. France going all the way to lift their second, it will be, as Croatia tried to find a way out from the back now. Swivel there in midfield and switch to the right-hand side, headed away by Lucas Hernandez. Brought down then by Šime Vrščálko, as we are into now the final minute of the 90. Don't expect we're going to get too much additional time. 3 minutes potentially. We've not even had all 3 changes from Croatia, which again Tom pointed out before shows the lack of depth they have in their squad. Even when things have been so desperate like this, the manager has chosen not to turn to someone on the bench. Possibly could have been Nikola Kalinic had he still been available and not sent off home, following his refusal to come off the bench in their opening group match. Well, he's not got anyone else he trusts, really, it would appear. The ball has fallen to Subasic deep inside his own half. In fact, he'll let it go for the goal kick, and this will take us over the 90 minutes. The Croatian fans still making their voices heard. They'll be proud to have seen their side go the furthest they've ever gone in a World Cup.
They will, and they've put on a really good showing, haven't they, in this tournament as well, in this final, I should say. They've really really stepped up and made it a very entertaining. I'm just looking at previous World Cup finals. This is the most goals in a final since England's victory in 1966, but that of course went to extra time, and that's where we got those extra goals from. So it really has been a high scoring affair. There was one goal in the last one in 2014, one in 2010, two before that. So this has really bucked the trend in terms of what we usually expect from World Cup finals, tight, cagey affairs, and I think it's been a good way to end what has been a very exciting World Cup. We've had goals, we've had drama, we've had the influence of VAR throughout the tournament, and the finals kind of replicated that.
Yeah, France fans are loving what they're seeing. It's been a long 4 weeks for any of them that have been in Russia from the start, but they'll be delighted that they've been there to experience this game. 5 minutes the verdict of additional time, and we're just done with a minute of them. As Croatia approach the halfway line, France with pretty much everyone back behind the ball. Mbappe's now the centre forward. In fact, the poor ball has fallen into Mbappe's path. He didn't have to do much to intercept. He rolls it through to Pogba. He's got Mbappe making a run in the box. Pogba tries to get past his man. Mbappe was waiting and it falls to pieces. And Croatia can come out and away through Mandzukic over the halfway line into Modric. Drives it on past the first challenge, then can't squeeze it past the boot of Tolisso. Griezmann, who comes away over the halfway line and just moves through the gears a little bit. He's then wiped out. That'll be a free kick and surely a card as well. The referee not left with many other options.
Yeah, Salco coming in frustration now on his Atletico Madrid teammate, isn't it? No love lost there. You would suggest he is apologising now. It's just frustration. You can see what Griezmann's doing. He's skipping away. He's got the pace to get past Brozovic. He's running to the corner flag. Salco wants to stop him one way or the other, and he misses the ball and takes him down. And that might be a painful one on the top of the foot for Antoine Griezmann.
Yeah, he's had the well wishes from Vršálko, who's subsequently picked up that card now. And it will be a free kick to France wide on this left-hand side. Something tells me they're not going to be committing huge amounts of bodies into the box for this. They could do, but don't think they're going to. Mbappe and Griezmann are both over the top of it. In fact, there's no one in the box for France. Mbappe decides to take advantage of that as Pogba made a late run. Oh, he just took his eye off the ball. He allowed it to go past him, and well, Croatia get the ball back to their goalkeeper. Well, they should have taken that one.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for Paul Pogba. Just switches off. I don't think you can believe how much space and time he's got in the penalty area. He's just waltzed in there, misses the ball, and Vida was on hand to get the block away. But yeah, wasted opportunity for France. So they're not going for the jugular, but they look more likely that they're going to get a fifth goal in this match than Croatia pull one back.
Griezmann trying to burst past a challenge there, but Vida stopping him. Croatia come away out to the left-hand side. Chance to maybe get a cross in. Brozovic decides against the delivery, and him was challenged and dispossessed. They back over the halfway line, just about stays in play with Vida, and Croatia have a bit of time and space on the ball inside France's territory. If they get deeper in, obviously the challenges will come, and they do. Referee is given a free kick here against Nzonzi. Croatia maybe with one final chance to get good ball into the box. Oh, they were appealing for a hand actually, France. They felt that it had come off Vida's, but referee's not interested in that at this stage of the game with the scoreline the way it is. Croatia have wasted this free kick incidentally, and it's gone behind for a goal kick, and well, France already hugging one another. They feel that's the job done, although there's still over a minute to go. And Perisic struggling to even get himself up to his feet now.
Yeah, Croatia are resigned to the fact that the match has gone as well. It's not been a classic France performance. It's not been a classic France performance throughout the whole tournament, you would suggest, but they've done what they've needed to do. They've raised their game for periods within matches when they felt they've needed to. They know they've got that pace, quality on the counter-attack, that even if they do sit back and have to soak up pressure, that they can still hurt teams, and that's what's happened. They've scored 4 against Croatia, they scored 4 against Argentina. They've beaten Uruguay and Belgium by keeping clean sheets and keeping it tight. They've shown they can do it in every which way, and I think they're worthy world champions.
Yeah, I think so. In the end, they've shown up too good for Croatia today. Got off the mark with that own goal, controversial penalty then, helping them to establish a 2-1 lead after Perisic had levelled. It's the second half early on that they blew Croatia away, and with the ball in Hugo Lloris's hands and 5 seconds of the 5 minutes of additional time left, once he kicks this out, the whistle should go, and France will be confirmed officially as champions of the world The players onto the pitch, the substitutes to celebrate with the rest of their teammates. France have battled their way through and in the end proved too strong for Croatia. They are the world champions. It's finished. France 4, Croatia 2.
Don't feel fucking to me. 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 Come on. Don't feel fucking to me. Don't feel fucking to me. Come on. Don't feel fucking to me.
In the first half.
I think you just have to look at the fact they didn't have to. They weren't a France team that we thought were going to blast people away with the ability that they've got, but they didn't have to. But like Gary said, the teams that they've beaten on their side, they have been the best team in it, in respect. I'd have to say Belgium as well, but they deserve to win there in the tournament today, unfortunately for Croatia.
Well, I did a come early in the tournament, and we were all talking about how disappointed we were with France, and they're going to get better, and we weren't sure about them. They were winning games, and you just felt they were going to come good at some point during the tournament, and they powered their way to the final and won it convincingly in the end, albeit that huge decision at 1-1. That changes the game completely. You might say they go on and win anyway, they might well have done, but it's such a big decision just before half-time. And I think huge credit to Croatia for making a great final, and well done to them, but